Hey guys, it's Serena and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Serena Chong. I am a pre-nursing college student looking into major in nursing. On my channel you can find videos of my life as a college student, tips on if you plan on getting into a nursing program, and everything in between. So if you're interested in watching more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe down below and like this video. So today's video I will be talking to you guys about my experience taking the ATI TEAS test. A bit of background information about the ATI TEAS test. If you are planning to apply to a nursing program sometime in your future, you will most likely have to take the ATI TEAS test. Normally, the TEAS test is a proctored exam taken at a university or a specific institution, but because of the situation that happened with coronavirus and social distancing, at my university I had to take the TEAS test proctored and online. So I'm going to tell you guys about my experience with that, just in case you guys have to do that now too, and to learn more what it's like so you guys don't get nervous like I was. So let's get started. Alright guys, so once again I have my iPad here with my notes just so I don't forget anything. The first thing I did in registering to take the TEAS test was I reserved a scheduled date with my institution. Some universities don't prefer that you register to take the TEAS test from their university, but just straight from the ATI TEAS website. So just look into that depending on your school that you're looking into. So yes, I paid at my institution and I was scheduled to take it sometime in May, but because everything happened, my date was rescheduled. I was refunded the $60 down payment I had to pay, and then I was given the opportunity to reschedule and take it once they figured out the whole online proctoring situation. So towards the end of May, I looked into my university again. I got some emails from their nursing program saying what they're going to do next is schedule us for a specific date. So I emailed the program director the dates I was looking into, and so I got my specific date for June. So once my testing date was finally scheduled, I got an email from my institution talking about how I needed to download a Google Chrome extension so I could be proctored on the TEAS test website while I was taking the exam, and making sure that I was able to do the basic running foundations, like making sure I had a good Wi-Fi signal, making sure my audio was working, my video camera was working with my laptop, and so on. So I downloaded the Google extension. For me at the time, I'm pretty sure I downloaded Proctorio, but just look into your emails and make sure that it's still the same. It might be different now. It's been a few months, and I've heard that there's been some technical difficulties, so just in case, just make sure you look into that before you start your exam. So in that same email, I received instructions to download Proctorio, like I said, and instructions to complete a test run for my exam. This test run was to make sure that everything was working smoothly before the day I actually took my test, and just make sure that your system that you're using, your laptop, is compatible with all the features that are needed. So in order to start this test run, within that email I had specific days I could do the test run. They preferred me to do the test run about a week or 2 weeks in advance to my scheduled testing date. So for the test run there has to be a proctor. In the email I had information stating that the proctor for the test run from my institution is only available Mondays and Thursdays from like 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So make sure you have those specific days and times in order to not miss it, because the test run is really important. So when it came to that day, I just entered the test run code into the search, into this like code bar in the ATI TEAS test once I logged in. And then I clicked enter. My test run exam was there, so I went through all of those steps about checking my video, checking the signal, checking my audio through the Proctorio extension, and everything worked out fine. And then I just answered one simple question, and it doesn't really count towards anything, so don't worry if you don't know the answer to that question. So within the basic setup, you're gonna have to like show ID, so make sure you use a government issued ID card, whether that is your like driver's license. I'm not sure if a passport can be used, but don't use your institution ID from your school because that is not government issued. And then you're also going to need to show a 360 scan of your location with your camera. So what I did, I just like moved my laptop around to show that my environment is clear of any possible information that I could be using, and like I had my phone turned off and put away. And then you have to accept a checkbox so that the proctor knows that you're ready to start your exam, whether that's in the test run and it's the one question or your actual test. Then she will approve you to start your test, and then you just press the start button on the screen to begin your test. So for my actual experience on my testing day, I woke up, I just took a shower, had some breakfast, got my cup of water, and I studied a few things just for review. I didn't want to like wake up at like 6 in the morning to study for 2 more hours, because then my brain would just be like on autopilot during the test, and that's not okay. So I just like got ready maybe like 30 minutes beforehand, looked over things, made sure that my internet was working, I was able to get on the website, and I pretty much just like sat on the website waiting for me to start my test run. I would say be pretty early when you want to enter your exam, because you have to still do those testing foundational things regarding your signal, audio, video, and your environment scan. So the materials that I had in front of me that I was allowed from my institution was a pen or pencil and 2 pieces of blank paper. When you're showing your environment scan, you have to show your materials, so my 2 pieces of paper and my pen or pencil. Make sure you contact your institution about what specifics they have. It's really important so you don't get an invalid test result, because that would be very, very terrible, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. So make sure you just look up beforehand everything you're allowed to have during your test. My institution did not allow me to have a calculator on hand, because you have a digital calculator during your exam that is open for all sections, but you only really need it for the math. So once I opened the ATI TEAS website, I entered in the code I was given from my institution, again for my exam this time. I entered it in and I logged in, did all the basic checkup things, and then I pretty much started my exam. So before you press the start button, just breathe, because as soon as you press it, your exam is going to start and your time is going to start counting down. So just be prepared. So when I was taking my exam at the beginning, everything was working smoothly. I was just answering questions, reading passages for the reading section, doing everything perfectly fine. If there's a question, you can always go back to the question if you skipped it or if you want to change your answer. And there's also a feature where you can flag your question, and then at the end of that section you can just open all the questions you flagged. I also wrote down on my paper a few questions that I wanted to go back to just in case I didn't remember. Just be careful with that. Make sure you're using your time wisely, because in the top corner you have a countdown of the time within each section. So it's not of the entire test, but the time within your section, so you know how much time you have left in that particular section. So once I finished the reading, I went to math, and then I started doing my math things. Just so you know, once you completely answer all the questions in the first section you're in, or in any section you're in, and then you continue to go to the next section. So if I was done with all my reading sections and I press continue to go into math, I cannot open the reading section again. You cannot go back to those questions because those have already been submitted pretty much. So then you do the math section, science and English, and you just completely do those. Math, you have your calculator in the corner just in case you need it. It's like a really simple calculator. A few things there available to you if you do like to use that resource. For me, in the middle of my math section, probably like maybe 10 questions in, I went to press the next button for the next question to show up, and my computer screen completely froze and it wouldn't continue moving, which was very confusing for me because it was like working fine. So then I started like freaking out. And then on the sidebar there's like a little IT chat box thing where you can like see your video and like a bunch of other resources. So I tend to close my video because like I don't want to watch myself take a test. Like that's just gonna be distracting. I went to this little chat box feature. I opened it. It opened a little chat box message directly to someone who could help me with technical issues. So I just typed in the chat box. My computer froze. I don't know what to do. My timer is still counting down. Can you help me? And they helped me. They said just wait a few more minutes. I really didn't want to do that because I could just see my timer counting down, and that was freaking me out. I was like, okay, I mean, I've already been waiting a while and I don't know what to do. I want to keep testing, so can we do anything to speed up the process? She could like close my exam from her screen, which would like kick me out of the exam, but save all of my previous work, and then I would just have to re-log in, do all the basic check-in stuff again, environment scan, ID, showing, audio, signal, and video checkup. And then my proctor, who was there for my institution watching everyone take the test, she would just let me in again because of technical issues. So once I got in the second time, everything worked fine and I was able to finish my test without any other issues and really smooth. So once I got back into my test, my timer went back to the time it was before my computer was frozen, and I received all my time back, and I was able to just continue working on the math section. So yeah, once I completely submitted all 4 sections, I submitted my entire exam, and then I just waited maybe like 2 to 3 minutes and my final scores showed, and that is the diagrams and the logs of the bar graphs and your scores compared to the average national scores and what percentile you're in, and if you're like adequate, advanced, or exemplary, or any of those words I can't remember at the top next to your final score. So yeah, that is my experience taking the ATI TEAS test. But if you guys have any questions, comment them down below and I'll do my best to answer them as best as I can. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to take the TEAS test again to improve my score, but I did pass the first time, so it really just depends on the nursing programs I'm looking into and things like that. So if you guys are planning on taking the ATI TEAS test proctored online, I just wanted to give a few of the tips I have if you're deciding whether to take it in person or online. It was better for me to take online at my house because I was in an environment that I already know. Sometimes when I take a test, like if I were to take the SAT test at a different location, it'd just be a little stressful and it'd make me a little more anxious and nervous because I'm in a different setting and everything. But if you're worried about having technical issues while you're at home, or if you have like distractions at home, my family was at home like doing their own thing, so I try to tell them like try to stay quiet. I do have a dog, so I'm pretty sure he was barking a few times. But just try to make sure you're in like a good quiet location to take the test if you're taking it online and proctored from the website. And if you're worried about having technical issues, don't worry, the IT support system responded very quickly to me. Like the second I sent a message, they were already typing back. So they're really helpful. You still get your time back if you do have some issues like I did. But if you're more comfortable taking the test in person and proctored in person, it's not going to be like a paper pencil test. It would still be on the computer, just at a different location while someone is proctoring you in the room. So yeah, that is all of my tips and like comments I have sharing with you guys. But once again, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. If this video was helpful for you, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more videos about my life being a pre-nursing college student and a bunch of tips I have for you guys to make it easier for you to figure out what's going on. I also have a video on my channel about a few tips and tricks on what I did to study for the ATI TEAS test. You can click the button right up there or in the description box below. My advice for you guys, if you're going to take the ATI test soon, whether online or in person, just relax, stay calm, breathe. You have prepared for this, you've studied for this, who knows for how many hours, and this 3-hour test can be long, but just try to give all of your energy and focus into the exam so you don't make any little mistakes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, love you!